On time here on this Thursday morning. Welcome to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, like we are every single day. Happy one-year anniversary. Saw Nick Richard last night inside the Maravich Center. What an environment last night inside the Deaf Dome. It kind of felt like a little retro in there on a Wednesday night beatdown for Ohio. Scary at times. A pissed-off Will Wade in his post-game press conference. He will be here in 20 minutes as we will talk to the General after the win last night, as the Tigers now one of only two teams in the SEC that are still undefeated. Arkansas undefeated on the season as Florida fell last night. So LSU 8-0 on the season and still unranked. You gotta love it, baby.
I love that.
Me
I
too.
love the fact that I hope we go 10-0 and we don't have this ranked.
That's the question, right? How long can this last? I
Well,
mean, how
this
long
is it.
can the NCAA turn a blind eye?
When we
It's
play
obvious.
Georgia Tech, Saturday, Friday.
Yeah. Next game.
We beat Georgia Tech.
No,
on
you
Friday.
got 10-day break. Right?
Oh, it's already a 10-day break.
Yeah.
Now we're in the 10-day break.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Well, but next week, you're 7-0. Like, you haven't played like terrible. You've played some good teams.
December
like, Ohio's
11th.
a good team.
December 11th. Yeah, they're good.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
they're good. Well coached. That's a nice win. I mean, that'll be a win that comes back late in the season that you'll say,
Yeah.
nice work early.
Liberty win and
Belmont?
then Belmont win.
Yeah.
For sure.
Even that Penn State win. That team's going
On
to
the
beat.
road?
They're going to beat
Yeah.
some people.
I mean, it's a big conference.
66-51 last night as LSU gets it done in front of about 11,400
Man, that was
inside
awesome,
the
huh?
Maravich Center. They were rocking, bro. Set a student attendance record.
Brian Kelly got it.
Brian Kelly
going,
got
dude.
swallowed up, too, at halftime.
Bro, I thought he was great.
But I'm just saying, well, if you saw it on TV, it was a little different. Like, obviously, he was feeling the environment, and he came in with energy. Doesn't know how the tenor of the LSU chant works quite yet.
Me and Allie were actually talking about this. When did the L thing become a thing? Because when she cheerleader here, she was like, we didn't do the L. Was it like a recruiting?
It was recruiting and Coach O on the trail.
Yeah, I think it was Ogeron that
Every
really kind of
picture.
got it going. But like, I think like players were kind of starting to do it. Like Leonard Fournette in that class was kind of like,
L's up,
yeah. All right.
And I think that Ogeron kind of embraced it, and it kind of took off.
Yeah.
And now Kelly's trying to learn how to work with it. Because didn't he say that at the press conference yesterday? He's like, now I know what this means.
Yeah, and you
like,
can tell he was
throwing
like,
L's up, dude.
people had like kind of thrown it in his face. He's like, I know what this means now.
I'm good about it.
Easy.
No,
back off,
dude. He came in. Like if you were there in person, it was like the perfect amount of energy. The energy was already high because it's a basketball arena. It's a different type of energy, and he came in there. He just like he did exactly what he needed to do. It was sounded good.
I thought so too, but the LSU chant was a little funny.
Yeah.
He's gonna find it. He'll figure it out.
Yeah, that was-
because they were chanting at him. He's like, all right,
Hey,
I'll
dude,
roll with this.
He's never seen anything like this.
Never.
No, you could tell that. I mean, he is.
He's like, oh my god, I knew that they were crazy.
He's starting to feel it.
He's
what I
starting
mean?
to realize what he stepped in.
Right, like it's 24, 48 hours
Yeah.
after the decision has officially been made, and he's kind of like looking around like, we're moving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't live in South Bend anymore.
Well, yeah, because then you go to you're at a basketball game. Like these people are chanting about football right now.
Right.
Like if we're not even close.
Well,
to winning the game.
I thought one of the coolest parts of the night was last night in the Maravich Center. And welcome to the Jordy Culotta Show. Thank you for starting your day with us. Hit the
all I
like
was
and
doing.
share. True Blue Water every single day brings us our water. Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com. Papa Earl, saw Papa Earl last night at the game.
Papa Earl.
As 30% less sodium, you can pick up Papa Earl's spices wherever you get your spices locally. And then Metropolitan Health Group, Will Wade and Booger McFarland going to be here at 8:30 this morning. Looking forward to catching up with Boog, who is, of course, ESPN talking head for both college and NFL football. We will talk to Boog coming up here at 8:30, get his thoughts on everything. NFL, Saints play tonight. Saints play Dallas tonight. So there's lots to get to.
Taysom.
Yeah, Taysom Hill starting.
Yeah.
So there's a lots to get to. Appreciate you, as we said, starting your day with us. Make sure you hit the like and share. One of the coolest moments of the night last night, I thought.
Wow, what a great segue. That went through the whole ad, and you still remember where he was at.
In pregame is where when they introduce LSU's team, they kill the lights.
Yeah.
Right? Like they keep everything on. They introduce Ohio, and then they bring Brian Kelly on the big screen. And he says something like, time to meet the Tigers, kill the lights. And the place just is like,
I missed the intro.
Did you?
I didn't get to.
Oh,
I didn't
dude,
get
it was
there,
a great part of the night.
Yeah, and I the reason why I knew it was gonna be an awesome night is because I couldn't freaking park. Dude, me and Allie got there, and we were a little late.
Give you Kent Lowe's number, see if you can get a media tag, bro.
Hey, yeah, look at you.
Part of the media now.
There we go. Look, Media Mikey.
Where did you end up parking? Where do you park without a parking
I didn't know
pass?
if these were a kosher conversation. I didn't know if people wanted to give away their spots.
No,
where
I mean,
do you
just,
park?
like right behind where the party box is, that whole parking lot, and like I just see where I can go. Yeah, I
It's a
know.
hell of a walk.
See, I don't think the walk's that bad.
I don't think it's that bad.
Because I've convinced myself I have to park there too. Like you just park in the football parking lot and walk on over. Get
Was
to go
she good
see
with
Mike.
it?
Yeah, she was, but
Okay.
well, here's the deal though. They had like a bunch of the parking lot, like in the one over from it, blocked off for. I guess they had an alumni meet and greet with
Kelly.
Brian Kelly yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, my uncle asked if I got invited. I said, "Well, I'm not. I don't get invited. So I'm an alumni for football. I don't get invited." So he went there. He met him, but all that was blocked off. So they took off. They probably had like 30 spots away. Like we just couldn't do it, and they had a tow truck in there waiting.
Ugh.
Oh, we want your arms and your legs.
Nah, just your toes. I don't know if Roadrunner has that contract. It used to be that group underneath the Mississippi Bridge.
Yeah.
The worst people on the planet.
Was that
dude.
River Road?
Yes.
No, was it River Road?
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
one on
Was
River
it?
Road.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That place.
I don't want to say the worst. Just zero tolerance
Yes,
policy
watch
there.
yourself.
Watch yourself. They'll
Because
come
they could
get
be
you.
over your shoulder.
Oh yeah.
Gerald Jr. says, baby boy born this morning, feeling on top of the world. Congratulations to you, Gerald, and the family. Hope the wifey is doing good. Hope the baby boy is healthy. Congratulations on this beautiful Thursday.
They were doing it kind of when your parents were doing it. Birthdays are very close together.
Yeah, they may have coordinated.
Yeah.
What? So LSU rolls last night, 66-51 over Ohio. Brian Kelly introduced at halftime. Will Wade pissed off afterwards at the post-game press conference. We're going to talk to him in 15 minutes. But one thing that you can take away from this LSU basketball team, and I know that Coach Wade says that it's not sustainable in the way that they're playing right now offensively, which is kind of crazy to talk about, is the concern of this basketball team. And we'll get to all the stuff like Marcus Freeman being named Notre Dame's head coach. It looks like a lot of the assistants up in South Bend are actually going to stay parked up there. So Kelly going to be tasked with building, looks like a pretty much an entire staff.
You know what I love
down here at LSU.
We talked a little about it yesterday. I love people like just hating on the people. Like they just unnecessarily, just because something didn't go their way. Like people are dropping, like they're writing articles about, oh, what's it say about Kelly that his assistants aren't coming with him to LSU? Like shows you how much they actually liked him. In reality, like when Nick Saban got here, nobody came with him, and that has nothing. Maybe the fact that the head coaching job was between two of the youngest coordinators in the game, and then they wanted an opportunity to build their own thing. Like that doesn't say anything about Kelly's deal.
Well, here's what it does. It fast tracks the storyline of Kelly being a difficult personality. It fast tracks the storyline of a personality for Kelly that's tough to kind of vibe with. But again, I'm not going to get caught up in comparing, and I'm not comparing present day Brian Kelly to present day Nick Saban. All I'm doing is going back to the time period in which, Nick Saban was brought in from the outside. LSU was really kind of taking a step outside of their comfort level to make that hire. And when Saban got here, they said, look, what do you want to do from an assistant standpoint? And Saban said, I want to give the staff that I have in place right now the first right of refusal. And it's a famous story that Saban sent a plane up to East Lansing and nobody got on it. It came back completely empty. And all the staff members were staying up there. If you recall, they named Bobby Williams, who was the interim head coach. They named him the permanent head coach at Michigan State, and all of those staff members stayed with him at Michigan State in East Lansing. 3 years later, Bobby Williams was on Nick Saban's staff at LSU. And he followed him over to Miami. He was with him in Alabama for a long time. I'm not saying that that's how this thing's going to work out, but look, I'm not reading a lot into the staff not joining Kelly at LSU. It reminds me a lot of the story of what happened when Saban was hired for Michigan State. They handed over to Bobby Williams. Bobby Williams has worked with that staff every day. Nobody has to move from their home. Nobody has to rip their kids out of school. Nobody has to uproot their life and move it halfway across the country. So I really not reading too far into Tommy Rees looking like he's going to stay in South Bend. And when he's addressing the team, what he tells them, my heart's in South Bend. My heart's at Notre Dame.
For now.
A guy that played there, coaches there. I get it. I think that the biggest loss on this up to this point has been the wait staff. Notre Dame has been pretty forward-thinking in that department, and was it Matt Billis, I believe, was his guy? I don't know. His name was the strength and conditioning coordinator.
All I know is that they were fired up to keep him along, like the Notre Dame, like message boards, what have you. They were as excited to keep their strength and conditioning staff as they were to keep like Tommy Rees and Marcus Freeman. They were all like pushing hard for Marcus Freeman, but when you look at why they didn't leave, and I don't think it's a slight towards Brian Kelly at all. They're in the midst of a playoff run right now. They're one game away from going to the college football playoff.
It's a really good football team, man. I mean, when you look at Notre Dame and the way that they are playing right now, you could tell Brian Kelly. And there was a South Bend reporter at the press conference yesterday who got a little dig in.
Of course.
Right before the question. Did you hear it?
No.
When he said, congratulations on finding that fairy godmother.
Oh, I did hear that. You could tell he was nervous about getting that one-liner out.
He was, but you could tell that he had flown down the entire way from South Bend. Like, I am going to ask one question, and I'm going to lead it off with a comment about that remark.
Yeah, a little snide remark.
His voice was a little cracky.
Trembly.
You know what I mean? In the front.
And then he didn't know if he was going to get a laugh or anything like that, and it was deadpan.
No,
He was like,
deadpan.
let me move on to the question.
Yeah, right. I looked around, and everybody was just like, get to the question, bro.
Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, man,
That's a ballsy
get the hell
move.
out of here.
It is.
That takes a lot of nuts.
It did.
We don't get your Northwester, your North dry humor here.
Take your Midwest jokes out of here, bro.
We need a cheese curd.
But it was... You could tell when he was talking about his team in that moment that, I mean, like and obviously so, it was a gut punch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's like, look, this is a playoff team. This is a team that could potentially be playing for a national championship, and it's good. This is a good team. So I'm not going to read too far into. I mean, Marcus Freeman's getting his first head coaching gig at Notre Dame. Like, congratulations, man.
Yeah.
That is a hell of a gig. Like, that's a great place to cut your teeth as a head coach. I mean, can you imagine?
Cut your teeth, dude. That's a pressure cooker, huh?
Well, I mean,
yeah, but like
first year, never been a head coach. Oh, I bet Notre Dame has never hired a first-time head coach ever in their program's history.
Charlie Weiss. Was Charlie Weiss?
Charlie Weiss, but I guess he was so established.
But he was longer.
Like, he had so many skins on the wall. He had Tom Brady all over him. That cologne. But I just find that fascinating because that's the guy that they wanted, and this is what I wanted to ask you, Mikey. I put in the document a little bit. Is when you have that smoke around a player's coach, it seemed because all of the former players that know Marcus Freeman and all the players currently that play with him, how much does that pull people? Like, whether it be alumni or people that actually make decisions, if players are coming after you, player after player, are like, look, dude, this is the guy we want. Like, this is who we rock with. If our voice means anything, you'll hire Marcus Freeman. Like, when you're a player, do you have those conversations? Yeah,
you do, because you have guys now. It's different though. Like we have those guys those coaches that we really like, that we really will, vouch for no matter what. But we just kind of understand that they're really good at what they do, like their position, right? But then you have a guy who just kind of you just feel that this guy has a little bit more to him than just this is what I know. I can this is what I can teach. Now, this guy's got a little bit more of a forward-thinking mind, and you feel that. Players feel that, and you start hearing rumblings like if stuff's going wrong, and then like he's kind of the guy everybody goes to. So yeah, I mean when a team finds a guy like that, and the players rally behind that guy, which I feel like Marcus Freeman is kind of like that, it goes a long way. You know what I mean? It puts a lot of confidence in the people outside of the locker room, especially at a place like Notre Dame, because those kids, like Brian Kelly's built enough of a culture there where they know that, hey, we're going to have to – it's not just going to be about athleticism on the field. We have to know a little bit more. And he just seems like he has those qualities. There is dangerous scenarios in this when you can look at years past. And Wes Shin brings up a good example that I was going to point out. And I think that you can start to throw the Ogeron example in there as well, because if you remember when this job opened up back in 2016, there was a huge push from the roster, the guys that were inside that locker room, to keep Ogeron as the head coach. Same thing that happened to the University of Miami back in the day when Butch Davis took the Cleveland Browns job and left behind maybe
rival
roster.
This LSU 2019 team is maybe the best college football team of all time, in that 2001 Miami team.
Who was the Coker?
Larry Coker
came back.
Larry Coker.
Boy, didn't he
ruined
came
it.
there? No, he came there at the perfect time and then ruined the whole thing.
It was perfect. I mean, he was
I
Les Miles.
I could have coached that team.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
Roll the ball out.
At the time that you were in your life, you were probably like 10 at the time.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you could have coached that team.
Probably wouldn't know a little bit.
You know what I mean? It was
wow, they were nasty.
And Orgeron was kind of the same way. It seems like that's the same way with Marcus Freeman. And I will say this, just the little tape that I've seen of Freeman kind of address it. That guy's got great energy.
Yeah.
Like, he definitely controls the room. Like, he walks into the room and you are like, who's that? Who is that guy? Brian Kelly has that too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian,
in
a very much different way. Brian Kelly almost, he intrigues you by his his knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, you can tell that he is very smart in just his demeanor, the way that he carries himself. You can tell that when he thinks before he speaks. And
not a quality we've had often as the head coach
absolutely.
of LSU football.
I can't tell you how many people came up to me yesterday, whether it was after the press conference while we were in the room or last night at the basketball game, and said, wasn't it cool just to hear a coach that can complete a sentence? You know what I mean? Wasn't it just like refreshing to hear somebody get up there and have a clear vision and be able to communicate it into the public? I mean, it really is just that simple. To the fan base of kind of like, wow, this guy is cognizant. Like, I mean, like he's in it. You know what I mean? And I really do think that it is tough to sell an outsider, somebody from outside of the state, really, or definitely South Louisiana, and try and teach the culture, teach the expectation, teach the passion. You can't really do that. There's no model for that. But I do feel like when I hear him speak, he knows what he's in. He understands where he understands that this is going to come with a ton of scrutiny. It's going to come with a ton of pressure, and he wants all of it.
Which makes me like him even more. Like,
definitely.
I don't think we put enough emphasis on like how much pressure this job actually brings on.
I mean, he found out a good bit of it last night.
Right.
He didn't realize it was going to be
like that. But I'm talking about in the coaching search. When we're talking about like, what coaches, like, yeah, I see why Woodward didn't want to hire a Billy Napier. Not that he couldn't handle it.
Right.
But like, hey, I know this guy went to Notre Dame, which is the most on eyeballs university in the country. And he brought them from obscurity to being in the playoffs every year. He has this kind of like demeanor where it's like, I'm stoic, like I understand what I'm doing, but I know this is the job, and like kind of like so like straight lined that like we need this guy now to build this culture for later.
I think what I learned about this process and seeing the hire of Brian Kelly and seeing Scott Woodward along the way was that it shows how much Scott Woodward he puts into that seat, how much weight he thinks that the LSU head football coach carries, not only for the program and the athletic administration or the athletic department, but for the entire state of Louisiana. It is a major, major spot that has to be filled with somebody that is proven and shown that responsibly they can handle it. And not to say Napier can't. And not to say that Aranda can't, or not to say anybody that we were talking about leading up to this commitment was, out of bounds or couldn't handle it. It just, Brian Kelly gives you that confidence, like he definitely can handle it.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like
there's
he's
no question about it.
Right, like there's no questions on whether or not he can handle it.
When you look at the choices that were available, and we didn't feel like Brian Kelly was available, all because of what we're talking about now, this playoff scenario. That's why we didn't really talk about him much as a candidate, because he's not going to leave Notre Dame in the middle of a playoff run.
Well, he's been there for 12 years. Like, there's no reason.
But when you look, taking that out of it, if you said, hey, okay, he's a viable candidate, if we had known what the actual board looked like, Brian Kelly is the safest choice on the board, right?
Yeah.
Like he's able to.
Absolutely, 100%.
When you talk about the pressures he faced at Notre Dame,
non-debatable.
It's not like he's coming from an up-and-coming program where he's like, holy shit, it's different here. He's coming in, it's like, Notre Dame, understand the pressure, and LSU's going to be different.
And I want more.
But I've been in this arena before. And
turn the heat up.
Yeah.
Turn the heat up on
like
me.
him and Woodward have very similar personalities,
demeanors.
Very I know something you don't a little bit.
He kept saying alignment, right? Like
they're tied together.
Yeah,
man.
dude. Like that conversation they had was like must have been like way more than hey, come be the coach here. You can win. Like no, they had like.
Well, the contracts, but volumes to that, they're tied together.
It kind of made me feel like even with the language in the contract, like that Woodward wants to kind of keep rising in his career, like possibly even like the president of the university, some type, and like Kelly like transition into the athletic director role. I mean, like I'm not trying to think that far down the line, but I mean, like
Marcus Freeman is
that type of, you know what I mean, like that type of full like outlook. Like here's what I'm envisioning,
macro
Brian.
Plan.
You come in here, I'm gonna sign you to a 10-year deal. You rip off a couple of national championships. We turn this LSU football program into the monster that it needs to be every single year, and then we'll keep this thing rolling. We'll move you into another position of power. I'll continue to move up the ladder, and I mean, before you know it, we'll be running the state of Louisiana.
Because the blueprint he learned is working at Alabama right now. He looks at it. You don't have to change the blueprint because it clearly works. Like, let's do that. I know it works.
And the guy that's implementing that plan over there told us that it really should work in this state.
This is the best spot for it.
It's really actually built for this state.
Absolutely.
Kirk Taylor with the super chat says the staff has families and maybe they want their kids to stay in school. People need to chill out. The presser, the best thing that he heard was Kelly saying be demanding while not be demeaning. I thought that he did have some good one-liners in there. Kinfolk76 with the super chat says, did you notice how excited he got when he talked about being in the SEC going up against those coaches? Absolutely. I think that's when you look at the conference, that this is the elite. This is where the most money is, where the best players are, where the best facilities are. And if you're in that class, if you're in that mix, come get some. And I think Brian Kelly is a perfect – LSU and Brian Kelly both meet and merge at the perfect times in their lives. You know what I mean? Like LSU needs Brian Kelly as much as Brian Kelly needs LSU. And those,
it's like two divorcees to get together. Oh, you're single, I'm single. Around it.
Let's go do this.
Yeah, we're both.
Yeah, we kind of learned a lot, right?
Oh.
Outside of Brian Kelly yesterday, who I think was fantastic. I thought that Dr. William Tate won the day. I really, for people that didn't have a chance to hear him speak or have never heard him speak or just to kind of hear his vision for LSU, the more you hear Tate publicly, the more I really am endeared by this guy. I mean, you can tell that he's another one kind of like Kelly, who you were bringing in from the outside, which is always kind of dangerous into the state of Louisiana because of the politics, but you can tell that he really understands kind of the weight, the scope, kind of like we were talking about with what I thought his description of claw, like what you're looking for in claw, like in a leader, like character, leadership, accomplishment, winning attitude. And then how about he puts the plural on it with the S and he screams it in the microphone, spouse. Like I thought that was kind of a shot, like kind of back it up. You know what I mean?
Past two coaches,
right? I mean, it was. I thought that it was phenomenal. I thought that William Tate, outside of Brian Kelly, who dominated the day, I really thought for a lot of people that have never been introduced to Tate, that he really won the day. And one thing that I had confirmed to me last night, because I asked two administrators at the basketball game last night, all right, you got your football coach. Now it's time to pay your basketball coach. And both of those administrators last night told me that Dr. William Tate loves Will Wade, loves him. And that is the next order of business for the athletic department is to get Will Wade paid.
Let's go.
It is time to get that cat paid. It's time to extend him. And now that is next on the docket as far as order of business within that athletic department.
Does it make you wonder how did LSU do anything successful with the last
It's
two?
amazing.
It's amazing.
Well, it just shows you the power of the brand.
Right.
It shows you the power of the brand.
That LSU was able to withstand Joe Oliva and F. King Alexander, who was nonsensically, and any chance he got in front of a microphone, like, oh no, but he was like, I'll take away the football team. It's like, no, you won't. Stop saying that, dude. Like, made himself public enemy number one. William Tate had to see that, and he does the exact opposite. He's like, I'm bringing in a head coach. I want national championships. He didn't have to step to the mic yesterday. Like, he knows that he's
dude. It was
a rocky hiring for
a great day.
The tenor in South Louisiana,
absolutely.
And he took advantage of it. He nailed it.
Will Wade coming up next. Tigers stay undefeated last night with a big win over over Ohio. Remember, daily we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Check out the crew, GEAUXChevrolet.com. LaPlace, Louisiana for brand new cars. Used cars right here in Baton Rouge, and the brand is growing up in Tennessee. They're online, GEAUXChevrolet.com. Great holiday specials right now running over at Go. Go get yourself into a new Chevy today. GEAUXChevrolet.com. We will talk to Will Wade next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Tigers roll last night and get the win, stay undefeated, 66-51. Again, the defensive performance for the Tigers last night. They had Ohio shut out until I believe the second media timeout last night. Will Wade was pissed off in the press conference. A lot of people I saw on social media were praising Coach General Wade for the way that he was talking about his team after what many thought was a very dominant win. He joins us here this morning after the Tigers remain undefeated going into final exams. They will play Georgia Tech on December 11th, so a little bit of an extended break for the General and the Tigers. Coach, good morning. Boot up.
Boot up. How we doing?
Doing good. You were not happy last night in the post-game press conference, and many people were wondering why after your team won, but I thought you said it pretty eloquently that it's just not sustainable with the way that you're winning. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Well, we've had some slippage and some things. We've played 8 games in 3 weeks, and the one thing I want to give our guys a ton of credit is every game we've played extremely hard, and so that's a good place to start. Like, that's a good foundation to have when you know you're going to play hard. Every game. To me, you got to play hard, you got to play smart, you got to play as a team, play together. And the playing smart and playing together, we got a lot of work to do in those areas. And look, we're not going to be able to just shut teams down like we have. We're going to have to get into some games where we've been able to win a bunch of low scoring games so far, and that's great. We're going to have to get into some games that are not so much low scoring and moving forward. And we're going to be able to score. We're going to be able to run good offense. We're going to be able to get the ball and move the ball. Think about this last night. When we played inside out in the second half, we were much, much better. And our transit, you can set our transition defense. You can get our defense set. Mm-hmm. First half, when we're jacking threes, and we're taking some really, really difficult shots. It led to some of their runouts. It puts our defense in a really, really bad spot. And so, when you're a defensive team, you have to play complementary basketball. And we're a defensive team this year. So we have to play complementary basketball. It's like a football team. You got to play to your strengths. And you can't be giving away points defensively because of your offense, especially when we can make them work like we do on offense to have to score against our defense. And so we just don't play very good complementary basketball right now. And we got to get that fixed.
I heard you stress so many times in watching your team practice in the preseason, butt to the baseline on transition within 4 seconds of the shot going up on the other end.
What made you think that? My guy who sits there and counts every day in practice?
or you just screaming and getting in their ass for not having their butt to the baseline. Can you explain kind of what you're trying to emphasize there? Because I think that's what you're talking about, what you're struggling at, right?
Well, part of transition defense is taking good shots. When you take bad shots, they're outlet passes to the other team. So, part of it's that. And so, we've got to get back. We've got to get loaded to the ball. Yeah, I want to be 4 seconds, but to the baseline. And offensively, the same thing in transition offense. I want to be in a scoring area in 4 seconds, and we're way too slow getting to a scoring area in 4 seconds offensively as well. But we just don't. We just give away too many possessions on offense. We have too many, between our turnovers and our tough shots, we're just giving away too many possessions on offense. It's going to put an undue stress on our defense, and it's just going to be very, 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 very difficult to continue to win like that if we don't get our offense to come around. We don't get better ball movement. Even if we miss the shot. One, we got to get a shot. We got to quit turning over. But two, even if we miss the shots, we got to miss them where we can get back and set our defense.
Because last night you were talking about the ball sticking, right? Like sticking in one place, and once it goes
you
up,
got to
the
be
ball
able to
hadn't
make
been
a
reversed.
decision. If you can't make a decision in 1.5 seconds with the ball, like you need to go play somewhere else. You're just not cut out for this level. Wow. And so, we just catch and hold, catch and hold, catch and hold. Ball's got to move. Ball's got to move. You got to catch it. You either got to shoot it. You got to drive, punch the next gap, or pass it. But you can't sit there and just hold the ball and hold the ball and hold the ball. We got to be able to move the ball, and we've got some good offensive players. Like in my mind, Brandon Murray doesn't shoot it nearly enough. Their next best 3-point shooter today. We don't give him enough shots. We don't screen. He plays so hard on defense. He'll go 3 or 4 minutes without touching the ball. He needs the ball. He's a damn good scorer. Maybe he's one of our best scorers. But he's an unselfish kid, and he doesn't get all that frustrated with it. But I get frustrated with it. He needs the ball.
Is that more on him, or is that more on his teammates?
It's on all of it. It's on me. I'm the one who runs the offense, so it's on me. But I've got to get them. I got to get them a better understanding of what we need to do to make sure we're getting guys touching the ball and the ball is moving. And when the ball doesn't move, you can't get on the offensive glass. That's why we only got 4 offensive. We only offensive rebounded 14% of our misses last night. That's pathetic. Yeah. We should be in the 35-40% range, but because the ball doesn't move, they're just the defenders sitting between us and the basket, and we're easy to block out. We're easy to check out. So
I saw the stat that pissed you off last night more than any was that they outshot you by 20, huh?
Yeah, they outshot us by 20 because they got a bunch of offensive rebounds and we didn't. And they didn't turn the ball over much against our press. We turned it over 17 times. When you turn the ball over as much as we do, and you don't get on the offensive glass, if you allow them to get on the offensive glass, you're going to get outshot. We got outshot 19. Right. It's not going to work. You're not going to get outshot 19 very much at West.
You got to love the general. He is 8-0 right now. his team is undefeated after beating Ohio last night. Yeah, that's
let me say this. That was a heck of a win. Ohio's a really, really good team. They're a very good team. For us to put the first 10 minutes, we played really well. The next 10 minutes, they played well. The next 8 minutes after that, they played well. And then the last 12, we obviously clamped down and did what we do defensively. But it's a good win. They're a good team. They're going to have a chance to win the MAC. They're going to be very, 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 very good. They're very, very well coached. We're going to steal some of their post plays they did to throw that ball into 30 and 5. They're a very good team, and it'll end up being a great, great win for us, especially to win, about 15 or so at home.
Cody Worsham tweeted out some of your national numbers where you are defensively right now, and you're in the top 10 of just about every stat that means anything defensively. Through the first 8 games, you have to be really excited about the potential of where you could be on the side of that floor.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it, right? No, look, we've got guys that are defensive minded. We've got guys that play extremely hard. We fly around. We can test everything. We're pesky to play against. We're going to find some pressure points where maybe you haven't prepared or where we've got an advantage, and we're going to be able to exploit those with our defense. So it's been really good so far.
Another great crowd for you last night. You set a student record.
That was awesome. We had
it was the
2,300 students, and I thought the rest of the crowd was great. We had a 11-5 in there, so really, really good. I mean, think about that. We had 11-5 for a non-conference game in December.
Yeah, with
2,300 students getting ready to go into exams. I mean, it gets no better than that for us. And we've got to keep building. We've got a lot. We've got a couple home games left before SEC play, and so we've got a lot of momentum. I thought the students were awesome. They set the tone. When we walk out there, they're up to the top of the 300s, which was great. So, we've done a lot to engage the students. Nelson Hernandez from my staff, and Brent, Tyrone, they've done a tremendous job to get out and spend time with the students. And the drum and stuff before the game, that was Nellie's idea to get everybody going. So it's been really good so far, and hopefully it's just getting started as we get into SEC play.
You don't have a choice on it on the schedule, but do you like this 10-day break that you get in the middle of the season to kind of reset, or how do you use this break?
Yeah, we're always going to have a longer break because our exam week is a week earlier than almost like 95% of the schools in the country. So we're always going to have a little bit longer break, which I actually like. Gives us time to reset, recalibrate. We needed this. It was like a sprint to get to this. We basically played the same rotation, same guys, and now we've got to get back and retool some things and rework some things and get the just get the offense better.
Coach, have you met Brian Kelly?
Yeah, I met him yesterday morning at a breakfast, and I talked to him briefly at halftime right before he came out. So, he's a great guy, and he's going to win.
The other person that I thought won the day yesterday was Dr. William Tate. I don't think a lot of people have had a chance to hear him speak publicly a lot, but yesterday was an extended time in introducing Brian Kelly. What has your relationship been like with the new president? And
he is.
Yeah, he's
sharp. I'll tell you something now.
Yeah,
he is sharp, and he wants to win. He's been great for this university so far, and he's going to be great for the university moving forward and in the future. And I know alignment was the buzzword yesterday, but that's the truth now. From Dr. Tate to the board of supervisors, Remy was there last night. A bunch of the board was there at everything yesterday and last night. To Scott and Burge and Stephanie and their team, since I've been here, I've never seen the alignment like this. And it starts with Dr. Tate and the board. And people, I guess yesterday I didn't get to see it all, but I guess people got a glimpse of that. But make no mistake, he wants to win and win big. There's no use in playing if you're not trying to win, and that's what he's about. That's what he's about, and he's made no bones about it. And Scott's about the same stuff. And Stephanie Bird, I mean, everybody's on board, and everybody wants to win and everything. And I think that maybe that came through a little bit yesterday, but my interactions with him have been tremendous, and he's all about doing what we need to do for LSU to win everywhere, academically, athletically. Like he's done a tremendous job in my opinion so far.
Did you get an explanation on what happened on that trap 10-second violation and why it was overturned? I thought you guys defended that. It wasn't?
No, it's the right call. So they called timeout because they rolled over on the floor,
which reset the clock.
There was 29 on the clock, so they had 19 to get the ball across half court. We trapped him at 20. The frustrating part was he was trapped at 20. He wasn't getting it across. The shot clock was at 14. But technically it is an inadvertent whistle. There's nothing you can do about it. It's an inadvertent whistle, and but they get the ball. That was 100% the correct call by rule. It was frustrating at the time, but I knew they were right.
For as good as you are defensively, is that when you're at your best, when you can extend the floor like that and get to that trap game and get out and run?
Yeah, I mean, we have to do that because we have to use our defense to create some offense. We got to use our defense to create some easy baskets on offense, to create some easy opportunities for us on offense. So we're not just bogged down in the half court. So we're not just bogged down on the half court offensively. So, yeah, that's a big piece to us. But you got to be able to score to set the press. So it's a little bit of we a little bit of a catch-22. We got to be able to score to set the press. We got to be able to get in the press and be able to create some offense from that.
You expect Sharif to be available when you get back into action?
We'll see. We got a scan here today, so we got a scan today. So we'll see what it says. But we're hopeful.
You happy with your rotation up to this point? The minutes you're getting from everybody?
Yeah, I like the rotation. I think we've settled in with some guys, and I like where we are with all that for sure.
General Will Wade, 8-0 on the season right now, and the Tigers going into an extended break with final exams, and then they're back in action versus Georgia Tech on December 11th. Good luck in recruiting, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Boot up.
Yes, sir. Boot up. There he is, Will Wade, joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show after last night's win. The coach there for the first 6 minutes of that interview, you would have thought got blown out last night by Ohio. But that's why you love him. That is why you love Will Wade. And remember, every time Coach Wade is here, that is compliments of Phil's Oyster Bar. Phil's Oyster Bar is which you can find over there in Southdown Shopping Center. We were over there yesterday. Great raw oysters right now and lunch specials over at Phil's Oyster Bar. Check them out over in Southdown Shopping Center. Great memorabilia on the walls. Nice people, of course, and a staple of Baton Rouge. Stop in and see them over at Phil's. Tell Anthony and the crew, Miss Pam and the crew, that you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. And every time you hear from Will Wade here on the show, that is compliments of Phil's Oyster Bar. The atmosphere is getting back inside the Maravich Center, kind of where I was like when we were younger, man. I mean, like I can't remember a December game like that, December.
Right. I've never been to one. When I was in college, my freshman year is when they had Marcus Thornton and those guys, and that was that was the last time that I can remember the 300 level
having people in it.
Yeah, but that was also SEC play. Like I remember we were playing South Carolina. They had a really good point guard too, and they're ranked, and they were for 4 straight possessions. It was 3, 3, 3. Marcus Thornton scored 12 points in a row, and it went berserk. It was crazy. But yeah, the atmosphere. The student section has the little big. Yeah. I know. I was like, what the heck?
That's great.
Damn, that is awesome.
It's unbelievable. That is the Balcony Bengals, who is interacting with us on Twitter. And a young student. They're great, man.
That.
They're up in the student section. They had the big cutout of Wade. We got to get one of those Wade cutouts, or at least one of those.
I mean, that thing, I don't know if it could fit here, dude.
Not that one, but at least a fathead for the new studio. That General Will Wade pointing at you, I want you to boot up, is one of the finest images, bro.
And they got the shirts out already. That's what they gave, I think, the first 500 or 1,000. The 500 got the T-shirt. So they're doing a great job of marketing. Either it's free food or a T-shirt or something, but it doesn't hurt. It's the team's pretty good.
And they're fun to watch.
And they're fun to watch.
They play a style of basketball that is very fun. Gaines and Tari Eason. I mean, the Tari Eason dunk in
behind the back.
That's kind of like the Kobe versus Memphis when he or Denver when he just. I mean, I was like, look at Tari Eason.
I didn't realize how good his hands are, dude. I mean, he took that ball coast to coast and got the and one dunk. I'm like, this is just.
He did it twice last night. That one overshadows the one that he did in the second half where he just took it coast to coast and
just yammed.
Yeah, Jordan got a great video of that I believe we've posted on our Instagram or on some of our social media sites. So make sure you're following us there at Culotta Show. And remember, daily we are brought to you by Edward Jones. Our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones brings you our show every single day. Get in touch with Daniel. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com is where you can get in touch with him. He's over in central Louisiana, located right across from Stab, so you can stop in and see him right over there. Very conveniently located for you and can help you out with any questions that you may have about your finances, about investments, 401k, Social Security. And he is an expert in the field of working with people within the plant industry. If, in fact, Daniel wanted me to pass along this message, if you work at Exxon and you are considering retirement over the next year or the next few years, now's the time you need to get in touch with Daniel. In fact, call him right away. 225-261-8262. Exxon just announced that the interest rate for the first quarter went down, which may impact your decision, which means that you should call Daniel and let him crunch the numbers to see if it makes any sense for you. 225-261-8262 is the number, or email him at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com. Appreciate the General Will Wade for stopping by here the day after the Tigers remain undefeated on the season, as they are 8-0 now after last night's win, as they take care of Ohio 66-51 to stay undefeated going to final exams. Lots more to get to here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We will talk about Brian Kelly. We'll talk more about what's going on with the assistants. Marcus Freeman looks like, or is going to be, as it was made official last night, he's going to be the next head coach up at Notre Dame.
Tommy Reese staying with
Tommy
him.
Reese is going to stay with him. Strength staff staying with the crew up there in South Bend. We will tell you if it's a big deal or not when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73, or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. Go Flow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com. Go Flow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At Go Flow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com, or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Each and every day here on this Thursday, stopping in at Go this morning. Looking forward to getting out to LaPlace and see the boys, Nick Richard, Lee Carney, the entire crew out there. Appreciate all your interaction and starting your day with us. Hey! All right. Fresh kicks.
Oh, y'all seen this before.
Valentine's shirt.
Must be going to the game tonight.
No, still no word.
Still no
Still
go.
no word on I'm going to New Orleans tonight.
That's tough.
Really? Oh, no, you're out, man. You're going to the LSU women's basketball game. That's your big surprise. Iowa State's in town. Can Mulkey take care of the crew? Carpool Queen, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to see you.
Y'all too.
Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. All right, we were talking about the assistants with Brian Kelly. I went back to the story of Nick Saban back in 1999 when he was introduced and hired by LSU. The famous story of Saban is that once he got down here for Baton Rouge, they said, "What do you want to do about your staff?" And he said, "I'm going to give my current staff at Michigan State, every single one of them, first right of refusal. So what I want to do is I want to send a plane up to East Lansing and tell them whoever gets on this plane has a job." And the story goes famously that nobody got on the plane. Like the plane came back empty, right? And I remember like the melt early on Saban after people were kind of like past the storylines of he's a jerk, he's kind of a dick, right? I mean, like, was that, wow, this kind of goes more into the storyline of him being a jerk. None of his coaches want to come with him.
Yep.
Nobody wants to be here with him. Nobody wants to coach alongside of him. But what happened was, and there may have been a little bit of truth to that, but what happened was Bobby Williams, who was on staff at Michigan State, got the job. He was named the interim coach, and then he was named the permanent head coach. 3 years.
That was all happening in the background, but everybody just thought Nick was a dick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was going on. Michigan State played Florida in like the Citrus Bowl with that team, and they had like Plaxico Burress on that squad.
Yeah.
I believe like Tony Banks was the quarterback, the guy that was with in St. Louis who used to wear the bandana under his helmet. You remember him?
Yes. It took a while. I would just Plaxico threw me off for a second. 'Cause
This
a lot
is a
goes
young
into Plax in Michigan
Young
State.
Plax.
Yes.
lot goes into the Plax story.
This is Steve Spurrier of Florida. This is like Rex Grossman and them.
Yes.
That they're beating.
Wow.
And they beat in the Citrus Bowl with Bobby Williams as the interim coach. And so, like, Michigan State fell in love with Williams and hired him. And Williams said, look, we keep the entire staff in place. And when you tell a football staff that they don't have to move from East Lansing or in this part, South Bend, Indiana, to Baton Rouge, well, I don't have to rip my kids out of school. I don't have to change my banks. I don't have to move. You know what I mean? All this, just the little stuff that goes in to moving, and then you're moving halfway across the country, and it's easier just to kind of stay where we are. I'm not saying that that's the exact same scenario. This situation reminds me of that with Brian Kelly, with him moving on from Notre Dame. Yesterday, he was asked a couple of times about what's he going to do with his staff, and he came out and said, look, there's some people on my staff currently at Notre Dame that I'm very interested in, and I'd like to see what they're going to do first. I think he was talking about his coordinators, Tommy Rees, and his defensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, his offensive coordinator, and Marcus Freeman, his defensive coordinator. I also think that he was speaking about his strength staff. And all of them have come out since Brian Kelly's remarks yesterday and said they're staying at Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman got the head coaching job.
Didn't Bobby Williams, back to your story, didn't he come in eventually coach under Saban?
3 years later, he was in Baton Rouge. 3 years later, he was in Baton Rouge. 6 years later, he was with him in Miami. 8 years later, he was with him in Tuscaloosa. I mean, he's been with him everywhere he's been. I'm not saying that Marcus Williams is going to fail, and I'm not saying that Williams is going to be in Baton Rouge in 2 years calling defense. I'm just saying that it's not that big of a condemnation on Brian Kelly that his staff is not following him down to Baton Rouge when somebody on the staff got the gig, and the interim coach, now the permanent head coach, says, "Hey, everybody's keeping their job." Like, sweet, all right. I'm not moving to Baton Rouge.
Wall Street.
I'm not leaving. Give a damn about Baton Rouge. I don't want to move down there.
I'm solid here.
I'm fine here. Like in the case of Tommy Rees, he was the quarterback at Notre Dame. He's coaching at Notre Dame. The team's pretty good. I'd imagine that Tommy Rees, when he goes out in public in South Bend, Indiana, it's probably a pretty cool vibes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So people are mad that he's staying?
I think that there's a section of the base that's probably saying, wow, what's this mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is this a red flag? I wouldn't look at it as a huge red flag. I wouldn't even look at it as a red flag.
But a red flag to what?
On Brian Kelly.
Like,
I think it plays into the
Okay.
personality stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think it plays into he's hard to work for.
Yeah,
Right.
people don't want to follow him.
Right.
Must not be that good of a leader, whatever. But I think a lot of it has to do with how Lincoln Riley was able to uproot his staff and be able to take everybody with him to USC and he's starting to flip recruits. And then, so you just have the two polar opposites of the sides of the spectrum where, like, oh, that puts it in LSU fans' minds that maybe if Brian Kelly comes to LSU, he's bringing everybody with him. Like, how long have they had this plan in motion? Where it feels like Lincoln Riley was a little bit more organized on the USC side of, I'm going to be able to bring this with me. I'm bringing my quarterback with me. I've got recruits already flipped going to.
Has Caleb Williams put his name?
No, but I just imagine that he's going to be able to. Like, he put out a statement that was very ominous. If you're an Oklahoma Sooner fan, that's like he's going to stick around. They haven't made a hire yet.
What did it say?
He was just like, I'm with you, Oklahoma. Like, we'll see how this all shakes out. Boomer Sooner, like the typical
See
Instagram.
Ya.
Yeah, like I'm hitting the portal, dude. Don't you worry. I'm going to California.
Sure is not playing for Bob Stoops.
Absolutely. I mean, except for once.
Hey, have they changed the rules? I know we've gotten off topic a little bit, but have they changed the rules with the transfer? So if a coach leaves, if you get to school and the coach leaves, can you transfer after that and for free? Like if you
absolutely,
if you've
you
already
don't have to sit out. No, like that's what I mean. Like don't they get one free portal and then? Like, if you've already gone to the portal.
A recruit would be able to pull back his letter of intent. If he had signed a letter of intent.
Under a different coach?
Let's say he signed a letter of intent for Lincoln Riley or Ed Ogeron. At this point, he would be back into the open. You know what I mean? Like, he could say, or he could just come out and say, I'm sticking with my LOI.
Right.
I'm going to LSU. Or he could say, you know what? I'm going to wait and see who they hire. And when they make that hire, I'll announce what I'm doing.
So that's a normal thing to do.
I think it's a new rule.
Oh,
It's a fairly new rule.
You used to not like if you sign to go play at Mississippi State under the staff there and they get fired.
Yeah.
It used to be you had to stay there without if you wanted to transfer you to sit out a year.
Okay, yeah, you had no choice.
But now I don't know how recent, but they changed it to where if the guy that recruited you leaves, you're allowed to leave as well without penalty, which makes sense.
That was the precursor to the portal, right? That
was their first. Right.
That was the first, like, here's a make good on everything we've done wrong. Let me allow you to go into the portal so you don't have to worry, about having to stick with the coach that you didn't sign for.
Yeah. Like, no, it is. Well, I mean, what there was a big push to do was give choices to the players.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, like you look at this Lincoln Riley situation, you look at this Brian Kelly situation. And this was always the scenario that was painted to the NCAA of how out of balance this thing is.
The power structure.
Right? Like, I mean, and I'm not banging on Brian Kelly and I'm not banging on Lincoln Riley, but for the entire season, Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley have told their team to stay committed, stay focused, stay on task, stay on point. And as soon as we get ready to make a playoff run, you're leaving? Like, what are my options, right? Like, you can just pick up and leave in the middle of the night like that. What about me? You know what I mean? Like, what about the player? And I think that over the last couple of years, legislation or at least rule making within the NCAA has been very much pointed towards the player. And that has been the emphasis of, and this has always been the example of Lincoln Riley can leave overnight for more money to go out to USC and I'm not getting paid and I got to stay here. How's that make any sense?
And then it all comes back to, well, you commit to the school, not the coach. It's like, the school wasn't pitching me, dude. The coach pitched me. Like, Caleb Williams absolutely met with Lincoln Riley. He's like, I can get you in the NFL in 3 years, win you a Heisman, and probably a top 3 pick. How you doing? Like, yeah, sign here.
Yeah.
But
Jacob Berry would like to see you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Caleb Williams, I'm sure, would like to have a conveation about that.
To go to, you're going to California? That would be great.
You think Caleb Williams ends up in Norman, Oklahoma?
By
himself? Not for Lincoln Riley?
with Big Game Bob?
Now, it does go both ways, right? Where you do have, I mean, Mikey Montook was going to LSU, whether,
Over Howard.
But no.
I mean, was it that a lot of the sentiment around you? It was going to take a monumental.
Yeah, no doubt. I was going. LSU is where I wanted to go. The only reason I didn't there's a split second where I almost committed to Alabama.
Really?
No, Mikey.
I never got offered by Alabama.
Jim Wells?
But Taylor Dugal was my best friend. One of my best friends growing up.
Northwestern State.
Yep. We played travel baseball from like 9 until we got to high school, and then he had signed with Alabama.
Okay. Jordan.
And I was still unsigned. I was committed to LSU as a preferred walk-on. I didn't have any scholarship money from LSU because I was a football player and they just didn't know. It was just a whole bunch of different deals, right? So I was like, I played my freshman jamboree, drove to Tuscaloosa the next day, had an unsigned senior showcase, played really well, and I told my family, I was like, if they offer me, I think I'm going to commit.
To Alabama.
What year is this?
Alabama. This is my senior year. The fall of my senior year.
No, like literally. Like.
So the fall of my senior year
07?
was 07.
Oh no, dude!
And,
the timeline would have worked out horribly
And so then
for you.
I ended up saying whatever. They didn't offer me. I went home. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay as my walk on preferred walk on status, and then I'll get money later, and it all worked out.
So like
cool.
kind of like Walker Howard, right? Like I mean, Walker Howard kind of feels like he's coming to LSU.
Yeah, right. Just like I grew up.
Will
dude,
Campbell.
I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up with LSU. Like my whole family went to LSU. That's
Did you ever regret it though? Like once you started with LSU, did you ever think like?
Oh no.
Not ever. That's.
I would.
He would have regretted Alabama so much.
Man,
Yeah.
I would have
Definitely.
regretted.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, we won it in 09 I was a freshman, and Taylor did great at Alabama. Like he set the hits record there. He's an Alabama baseball legend. But I don't think I would have won a national championship there. Like
No.
you know, so
Cody
it would've been
Boudreaux with the $5 super chat says, "Fire Mikey from the show. He hates Dune and loves Bama."
You would have been. You go from one of
Yeah.
Louisiana's most blessed sons to an absolute turncoat
Oh my
if you leave
God.
and
And
go to
like, look,
Alabama.
this like thought I was a
Well,
senior.
you're probably living in Birmingham now.
Oh, dude,
I was
radio.
I was a senior. I was a senior in high school. I was 17. So like, I wasn't forward. I wasn't thinking
sure,
about what could
right.
happen.
I'm going to Bama.
It was emotion, right? And I was like, it was like a 2-week thing, and
I'm
then
gonna post it
obviously,
on Tiger Droppings.
obviously, I came to my senses pretty quick.
I think Uncle Ronnie would have had a few choice words. Like, come back, Mikey, come to town. You're
Mikey,
not,
meet us at LaFonda's at 11.
Yeah. You're never leaving.
You're not going to Bama.
When's that signing day? You're missing it.
We're so
Uncle-
glad you stayed.
I'm so happy I'm here.
Uncle
too.
Ron was telling a great story about Mikey and the crew that they went up to Omaha in 09
Oh, boy.
for the Texas championship.
He loves
game.
this
This is
story.
a great story.
Did the party
This
box
is-
make it?
This
No,
is a
no,
great
no, no,
story.
no.
And Uncle Ron is, you know what I mean? He's an intimidating dude.
Uncle
You know what I
Don.
mean?
And he's not scared to talk.
Right, and especially out in the wild like
Yeah.
that. I mean, even at LaFonda's, he puts off this persona like, "Let me kiss the ring." In the wild, you're like, check out the fucking gangster
Balls on this guy.
in row K. You know what I mean? Like,
He's owning
guy's
the
got a
section.
horse head around his neck. So Les Miles shows up to the championship game, the championship series, to watch Chad Jones and watch the crew.
Jared Mitchell.
And they were going into a season where they didn't have a quarterback. This is after Jay Lee's freshman year, right?
Goes back to the parallel.
Yeah, and Mikey was a standout quarterback. St. Thomas More, dual sport athlete coming out. Obviously, big Ron is his agent at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couple gold rings.
And so they're watching the Natty, and everything's going good. Tigers winning the whole time. Ronnie's elbowing Miles behind him, saying, "Hey, you need a quarterback. There he is in the center field right there. Number 8 was an All-State at St. Thomas More, Les. I'm telling you." And I mean, like, he said Les got to a point like where he'd see him in the hotel, he'd like walk the other way.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he
Like,
knew him.
yeah, like,
He
Les,
had-
one more thing.
Ronnie was.
You want the
getting-
stats?
Ronnie got text messages because he was on TV because they kept showing Les. So he kept getting on TV. So he was getting text messages from everybody. And he was like, my Uncle Robbie calls him and sends him a text. He goes, "I know you're not. I know you haven't said what I think you said." And he said, "I already said it." So he knew, like, man, this is. He was
He's,
just
like,
waiting for that
watching him
moment.
say it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Please
It
tell
was a
me you
great
haven't
story.
mentioned Mikey playing quarterback at LSU. The first thing I said.
First 15 minutes. Les is looking for a new seat. All right, so we're gonna get to Booger McFarland coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Lots to get with Boog. Obviously, is the NFL action. Saints are playing the Cowboys tonight inside of the Dome. We'll ask him about some of the NFL storylines up to this point, but we'll also get his thoughts on LSU's new coach, where that does for the college football structure, and he can give really good background on Brian Kelly because he's been covering college football for a lot of, or for at least the last 5 years of Kelly's run.
What years did Boog play
at Notre
LSU?
Dame? He played.
Was he with
He
Falk?
was. He was with Falk. He was a first round pick in '96, I believe.
So he was
97.
early fall.
96, 97.
Okay, so Kevin was a junior.
Yeah, they
right?
were in the
They're
same
both-
class.
Okay.
They were in the same class.
Yeah, so he was right in the middle of the Gennardo time.
Yeah, and he'll tell
Jared
you.
Gennardo. Did I
He'll,
say Gennardo?
he'll,
Jared Gennardo.
he'll tell you, like, to this day they can't stand each other.
Oh, really?
Gennardo and
Really?
Booger.
Why?
Where is Jared Gennardo?
He's working for the Big
Big
Ten
12,
Network.
Big 10,
Oh.
Big
Big
10
Ten
network.
Network.
Why do they hate each other?
I think that just player coach stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Booger was a superstar. DiNardo was kind of a hard ass. They weren't as good as they should have been.
Yeah.
And a lot of that criticism came down on both of them. The star player and the coach. And Boog was an All-American. I mean, Boog was the first defensive tackle taken in the draft. Was it 97?
I just looked it up. He played at LSU from 95 to 98.
Okay, 98.
Drafted 99, first round pick number 15.
Yep. Tampa Bay Bucks. And he was probably on, arguably, one of the best defenses of all time. Chicago Bears 85, Ray Lewis's 01 Ravens defense, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2002 defense with Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Simeon Rice, Warren Sapp, and Booger McFarland. Go down as Rondé Barber.
That's what I was trying to think of the corner. There? That's how I was over there sweating.
Rondé Barber was on that. I mean, they got a Hall of Famer in Sapp, a Hall of Famer in Lynch, a Hall of Famer in Brooks.
Mike
Barber
Allstott was on their offense.
Rondé Barber.
Rondé will probably be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
That defense.
Yeah.
I mean, my God.
Wait, Trent Dilfer.
And Lane Kiffin's dad was the coach.
Really?
Of that defense.
Oh, wow.
He invented a defense for them.
It's called
not Trent Dilfer. That was
the what?
Who was their quarterback? Johnson.
Brad Johnson.
Brad Johnson. Yeah, our guy. Big Bad Brad.
Keyshawn was on that team.
Ooh.
Mike Allstott. Forget about Mike Allstott. That's my guy.
And the one that I hated was No, he was not on that team.
About to ask.
He signed as a free agent that summer with the Falcons.
Who?
Oh, wow.
Warwick Dunn, the Baton Rouge native. I wish he would have gotten a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
Oh, he deserves one.
He definitely deserved one. Definitely deserved one. Adrian Bailey, Mikey, do your relatives still have the T-shirt company in Lafayette?
Yeah, that's Big Ron.
Talking T-shirts.
Talking T-shirts.
Still there.
It is Big Ron. So we will talk to Booger coming up here in 15 minutes. Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. Get online at CajunRMC.com. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete is where you can find them. Whether you need a project done, industrial, municipal, or residential, they can help you out. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete provides ready mix concrete products and services to meet all of your concrete needs. As we said, they have 9 locations around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means that they can get your concrete to you on time to the exact specifications. Look them up online at CajunRMC.com. That is CajunRMC.com. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete guarantees, like I said, all of your deliveries on time. Grade A equipment, clear safety standards, and red carpet service. That's what you get when you deal with the best over at Cajun Ready Mix. We'll be back. We'll talk to Booger McFarland coming up here in 10 minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
I may have outed myself as lazy.
Let's just move on.
Yes. Remember, hit that like, share button. We appreciate you being here. We're going to talk to Booger McFarland in a couple of minutes.
Some things stay private.
That's right.
Some things need to stay
Not
private.
all on the platform, right?
Just talking Boogermobile. No big deal.
The Boogmobile. What a
That was a
failure.
bad idea.
That was a failure.
Let's sit in the
Was a
most
failure.
expensive seats in the stadium and put a big ass TV where you can't see, the fans can't see it.
And a huge defensive tackle.
Yeah.
In it.
Wow.
I mean, how far did that get? How did that get so far up the chain of command? We're
That's
like,
a great question.
you know what, Bug? We've decided
That's a
on the
great question.
Boogermobile, and
We're
he's
gonna
like,
put you in that. We're gonna
strap you in like you're at like you're going on a carnival ride to watch a football game. But man, that's terrified of heights.
Oh.
We sat down, talked about it. You're in? No, still doing it. Okay, see you Monday.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a shame because we're gonna do it. All right, Mikey. So what's up, bro? Y'all are locked out.
We are locked
Do
out.
you have a job right now?
I mean, I didn't have a job to begin with.
Right,
I mean,
right.
I'm not since I'm a free agent. I wasn't in the major leagues last year. I can still be signed. So I'm not technically.
So they
not
can
in
still
the
deal.
union.
They're still doing business.
Sorta,
In the
not.
lockout? Like,
Well, not with like major league guys, not guys that are protected.
Anybody under contract.
Protected by the union. They're not like there's no more contact with anybody involved, like any employee of the team.
Is that why a lot of guys that like big name guys spread
That's why
to
they
sign?
signed a bunch before, because there's gonna be zero. They don't know whenever the work stoppage ends is when they can start talking again. So they don't know when that's gonna be. So there's gonna be zero negotiating, zero communication, zero anything. Like, training staffs can't call and check in guys. Like now, I think that if you're there's a lockout, if you're like rehabbing an injury, like had surgery and rehabbing, I think that stays the same, obviously. But everything else that you do with the team, like trainers, all that stuff, they're no contact.
so
Weights.
this is the first one since '94.
Okay,
90.
so first official.
Is it 90?
94.
94?
And
That's
the
the-
ninth one in league history.
Yeah, we ain't scared. We're not scared we ain't scared to say, hey,
Give me that
Yeah.
local TV money.
That's
But here's
crazy.
the deal though. So baseball just came out and said that they secretly used two different types of baseballs
Why did they do that?
during the year, because they're trying to manipulate numbers, right? So if you use a ball that's
why did they admit it?
Yeah.
I don't know how the admittance came into play. Like, I don't know if like it was a conversation and somebody or if there was a whistle. I don't know what happened.
They didn't get him like, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know
Easy
how.
to
I don't know how it came out, and I think there was an issue, and then somehow
Boys, which one?
Yeah.
Which one? Who's batting?
Before we start negotiating, one thing, we actually under the table we're using two different balls this year.
So weird.
I mean,
Not a big deal, but carry on.
here's the deal. And we knew
that out in the open.
the players knew they could change the balls, right? Because in 2019 they changed the AAA baseball to the big league baseball, and home runs soared, right? And then they changed the big league baseball from that year to 2020 and said, okay, we're gonna deaden the ball just a little bit and home runs decreased just a little bit. It wasn't like a huge drop off. So that right there proved okay, we can manipulate the ball to make it do different things. And then now, the thought is that they, based off the free agency classes, they are throwing out different baseballs to manipulate the money being in. So if it's a big position player class, they give a ball that's going to be a little bit, they're not going to give up as many homers. That's not going to fly as much, so that the offensive numbers are down.
Really?
If it's a
Pitching heavy class.
If it's a pitching heavy class, they'll make the ball live. Now, that's there's been no evidence. But they're the only evidence and proof that we have that this is a possibility is that they have admitted that they can use two different balls, and they admitted that they used two in one season. So now they've lost all goodwill between the players. I mean, they didn't have any to begin with.
Right.
It was going to be going in. We knew this was going to be
digging a deeper hole.
Yeah, we knew this was going to be a battle. We knew that we probably were going to lock out. But after they did that, it's man, there's no goodwill during the COVID situations, and no goodwill now. And it's I don't know. You can't. MLB knows man, we fucked up.
So no free agency and trades can go on right now,
None.
right?
None,
How
and,
long will
the
this last? They have
lockout.
no idea.
I mean, it could end tomorrow. It could end.
94 was a
I mean,
strike. This is a lockout.
Yeah.
So 94. So what happened with 94?
So like 94,
they walked off the field.
You're just like picketing, and striking.
How long did that last? Do we know how long?
So
that
1994 started. Okay, so this is how it was gonna expire in December. In 1994, if you go look at the records and all of the old championships, there's no World Series that year.
Oh, weird.
And so they walked off the field in September. I don't know the exact date, maybe August, and didn't play the end of the season. And just the lockout. I mean, the strike started there, which obviously, and then a lot of things. That was good for. I mean, it was bad for baseball at the time, but for the players' union, it was great because a lot of things happened. Hey, we've proved that we'll sacrifice our money and our career to do what's right for what's later down the line.
Wow.
And that's where the NFL has failed massively on the NFLPA side.
It's not as good as it was then. Obviously, we've compromised on some things, and that's why I think this one's is gonna be, it's a real deal, and I think the owners know that.
I love that baseball is so stat driven. They'll do anything to just get numbers up. Like when steroids were rampant in baseball, this is the best time the sport's ever had. It's all right, we can't go back to steroids, so what can we do? Let's cheat a different way with the baseball. Go back to what worked in season 1.
Then you had the sticky stuff.
Yeah, then you got spider attack.
I mean, it's just not. It's not a good look. It's not a good. People want baseball. We want to play, but we're not going to sacrifice. I mean, some of the stuff is so archaic. It takes you so long to get to free agency, and by the time you get to free agency, in the mind of owners, they want younger players. So by the time you get to be 28, 29, 30, which is when you get. So if you get to the big league at 24 and you play 6 straight seasons without getting sent down, which doesn't happen to everybody, then you're a free agent at 30. By the time you become 30, they say, "Oh, well, you're getting too old, and now they don't want to pay you." Well, it's it took me this long to get there. You're not paying me big money. All these big contracts don't happen. Now, if you get to the big leagues at 21, it's a little different, but not everybody. There's very rarely do people do that.
Yeah. Does this happen in any other sport league?
Basketball had one.
Basketball's had one.
Football hasn't had one. They should probably.
They've had one, but it's been a while. I believe it was 82, 81.
For what?
There was a lockout in football.
Oh, whatever the replacement.
Yeah, they played with the scrubs.
The scrubs.
Yeah.
The picket.
But so, do you anticipate it getting worked out before?
I mean, I think it will get worked out.
87.
87.
And 2011. Small one.
Yeah.
But it has to get worked out. But when? How long?
Well, I think it's going to get worked out. I mean, definitely, it's going to go into the next. It's not going to be worked out by January 1.
Yeah.
I think that.
You know the drop dead date?
There is none.
Really?
I mean.
No. I'm talking about the date that if they don't have it negotiated, your year is done.
Oh, I mean. I think with COVID, they prove with COVID that they'll get some type of year in any way they can. So I don't know. I mean, that would have to be going through to August, you know. But
remember, Daily, we are brought to you by Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. If you are stressing the baseball season, maybe not happening.
Or if you're
there you go. Good.
Or if you're locked out, got nothing else to do.
You want to ease your mind. I would suggest logging on to reliefmed.com. That is RELEAF, LEAF med.com, and click that Get Relief Now link. And if you have one of the qualifying conditions that is anxiety, range from anxiety to migraines to PTSD to seizures, with a lot more that you can find out online. Check out Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. Once you go through the process, which is very simple, you can use the checkout code, the promo code Jordy01 to save 20% of all your purchases there at Relief Med, RELEAF med.com. Anybody see the picture of Andre Carter standing next to Quincy Wiggins yesterday?
No.
Dude.
Go to Quincy's Twitter.
And Andre Carter's a big guy.
No, Andre Carter is like a 12-year NFL defensive end that was getting numbers.
On
and Quincy
practice.
Wiggins
Oh
makes
my God.
Andre Carter look like me standing
He
next to him.
does.
I mean, he looks.
That's great. I mean, we know Quincy's huge. He's been in here,
yes,
but my
you want
gosh.
perspective? of just how big he is.
He's 17 years old, dude.
It is scary to think about what this cat is going to look like when he is 22 years old.
I cannot imagine.
Hey,
this guy's he's probably got one or two more growth spurts in him. Like he hadn't even started to eat right or be in a weight program that is going to refine him. I mean, when he starts eating 3 square meals a day and he's in a weight room that is paying attention and like carving his body up, I mean, he's going to look like Adonis.
What size shoe does he wear? Did we ever ask him?
I think it was 17.
It was huge.
I think it was 16. It was 16 or 17.
Oh, it's like Vince Carter. Whenever he said he grew a shoe size on his birthday every year, like when he turned.
Like legit, he did.
Yeah,
like
so
16,
he would get
17,
new shoes. 18,
yeah,
like when he was like 10,
No.
from 10 to 11 to 12 to 13. There's like, holy shit, dude! And so every year he's got new shoes. Like this is what you're getting. Your shoes have changed.
That's crazy.
That's
hey,
amazing.
so what do you think about
that picture? Look at that.
That's
And look, he's
Andre
in flats.
Carter.
He's in
Yes,
flats.
Yes,
he's in flats.
Yeah, he's in sandals, bro.
Is that what they're called?
Just slides, I guess.
Slides. Slides. You can tell.
Flats are drums.
I've been talking to my wife too much.
Yes.
Grab my slides, Mikey.
Yeah,
I don't want my
slides.
You mean your
heels.
flats?
The flats.
Slides.
Wait, for even more perspective, you saw the picture of him next to Shaq last
Yeah,
Saturday, and Shaq
right.
dwarfed him.
Yes.
And it just goes to show that Shaq is the most massive human being of all
Yes.
time.
Did you see Shaq's message to Julius Randle the other night when Julius Randle was bitching about big guys not getting fouls? And
Come
he
play
said
Mario.
nobody pulls for Goliath.
Yeah.
Quit bitching.
Yeah.
That's all he
You're
said.
never gonna get your foul. And he looked at Ernie. He said, "Ernie, I could pinch you, and it would hurt. You could pinch me, and I wouldn't feel it. We still got pinched."
Yeah.
That
shit happens.
Right. Booger McFarland is next here from ESPN talking everything football. We'll ask him everything from Brian Kelly to Quincy Wiggins.
Do you think Brian Kelly helps? Do you think that Quincy Wiggins tweeted the date that he's going to sign? Or,
December 15th.
yeah, right after the coach
Somebody last night tweeted at him they better keep Coach Carter on staff, and he quote tweeted it with facts. So I don't know.
See,
Do y'all
this is when
think he's
you.
coming here?
It kind of sounds like he's setting up the excuse to leave.
Really?
Yeah, kind of feels like
Aw.
he's going to pick this Bama hat.
Well, because if.
But you got 15. You got 14 days. You got 2
yeah.
weeks from today.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today. So you got a lot of work to make up in 2 weeks.
But I'm fine with that, and this is when you get into the scenario of you don't really let the players choose the coaching staff, right? You don't let recruits
Right.
Absolutely.
dictate who
Right.
you sign.
Right, no
like
doubt.
Scott Woodward's going to go through his process of who he wants to keep.
I think he's already proven that.
Yeah,
you know
he's
what I mean?
gonna. Yeah, he's not gonna listen to like.
Yeah.
I'm sure Quincy Wiggins feels like he has a voice in the room at some point, and he does. But he's not going to be able to. If he's not there, I'm not committing. Like you can't play that game at this point.
Are you
because,
saying he doesn't want to commit because of Brian Kelly?
No, I'm saying he doesn't want to commit because if Brian Kelly decides to fire or let go Coach Carter,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, that's the reason I
Right.
left. But you can't let
It's Dylan
recruits.
Moses.
Yeah, you can't let recruits dictate
Yeah,
the
it
way
was
you
Dylan
do
Moses.
business.
Right.
Yep.
All right, we're going to talk to Booger McFarland next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. As daily, we're brought to you by RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois for any of your construction needs. We got him over at the New DL. He's helped us over here at the UDL. He helps us out with all of our projects. Let him help you out. Look online at rmb-builders.com. We are talking to Booger McFarland next here. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, abearsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Hebert's combines perfect seasoning with that authentic Cajun flavor. Find out for yourself. Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway and in Prairieville on Highway 73. abearsmarkets.com. GoFlow IV and Spa, 7970 Jefferson Highway is where you can find them, or you can simply go online to goflowiv.com. GoFlow IV Spa is a medical spa that specializes in IV hydration with vitamin infusion. At GoFlow IV Spa, they can help you with a wide range of issues, from skin care to illness recovery, athletic performance, hangover cure, chronic illness, and even chronic dehydration. GoFlowIV.com or stop in and see them, 7970 Jefferson Highway. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Check them out online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Great end-of-the-year specials, holiday specials rolling through over at Go Chevrolet. New car lot out in LaPlace with a used car lot right here in Baton Rouge. One of our favorites and one of the most gifted men in television talking about football is Booger McFarland. You can hear him chopping it up about the NFL, college football, everything between the lines. He is on ESPN talking about it, and he's joining us here now on the Jordy Culotta Show. It's great to catch back up with you, man. Good morning. Happy belated Thanksgiving and early Merry Christmas.
The same to you, buddy. What's happening?
Oh, man. It's been crazy down here in Baton Rouge the last 8 weeks, Boog, with everything that's been going on with the coaching search and how the season ended for LSU. What has been your point of view of LSU? We hadn't talked in a long time. What has been your point of view of LSU football here in the 2021 season and going into the announcement yesterday?
Well, here's what I'll say. I think I coupled the last 2 years together because of post-national championship, COVID this season, etc. LSU, 5-5 a year ago, 6-6 this year, 11-11. A 500 football team probably at the bottom. And I think if 500 is your bottom, I feel pretty good about where we're going now, because making the announcement of Brian Kelly, it changes a lot of things, because I think now you got a guy that's going to stand in front of the room who is a proven winner. He's won everywhere he's been. He's won at every level. And for the areas in which LSU was deficient in, I think BK is going to have as a strength, namely the offensive line. Like, if you look at Notre Dame, he's always had a big, strong offensive line. He's always had really good tight ends. The quarterback play has been really good. And so I just think that you put his coaching expertise from an XO standpoint, because he's an offensive guy that likes to get his hands in there. He's a physical football coach. Little mean streak in him. A little bit of brashness in him. A little bit of, hey, I'm going to get you better. I'm going to MF you a little bit, which is what the best coaches need. Doesn't mean you have to be that way, but the best coaches need a little bit of that. And more importantly, I think you put him in Louisiana with the amount of talent that's in that state. I think good things are going to happen, man. And he wants a challenge, and the challenge he wants is to win a national title. LSU wants a coach that can help him do it again for the fourth time in the last 4 regimes. So I think it's going to be a win-win, man, and I can't wait to see him get started, putting his staff together, getting out in Louisiana, recruiting. And, a lot of people have made a lot of noise about the fit. Here's what I'll say about that, because that seems to be the hot topic of conversation. Does he fit? Les Miles was a Big Ten guy who came to Baton Rouge. He fit pretty good. Urban Meyer was a Midwestern guy that went to Utah, went down to Florida, fit pretty good. Nick Saban had never seen Baton Rouge. When he took the job, he came down and fit pretty good. So what I decipher from all of that, Jordy, is that if you can coach football and you can relate to people, whether you quote-unquote fit in a certain area doesn't really matter. And just look no further than the last 7 years. I mean, LSU had what a lot of people would say is the perfect cultural fit. And you got to give Coach O a lot of credit for embracing where he's from and embracing Louisiana. He won a national championship, but eventually the fit kind of wore off. So fit is only important if you can win. And if you can coach football, I really don't think the cultural fit is that big of a deal. You
mentioned the last 3 guys that have been here, and they've all won national championships, and they've all been in the game within the first 3 seasons of being on the job. What is a fair expectation for Kelly, knowing what you know about the roster, where the program is, and him starting off today?
What I would say is I don't think the roster is in as good a shape right now. But you can fix that with the transfer portal and a good recruiting class. 3 to 4 years is probably the reasonable expectations to be in that arena where you should expect to be in that arena. If our offensive line was in better shape, then I may expedite that. But if you look at our offensive line, I don't really think it's in great shape. There's some levels of upgrading that the roster needs. But the great thing about it is, I think, you got some good young talent at quarterback. You got Nussmeier, who I think is going to be phenomenal. He's got to be reined in a little bit. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. You got Walker Howard coming in, who's committed. You got Johnson there, who's my former teammate's kid.
Max.
And so Max Johnson. And so, the way I look at it is the quarterback position, which is still one of the most important positions, is in probably better shape than any of the time in, during, the other eras outside of Joe Burrow. So that room is pretty good. I think the secondary is going to be pretty good. The linebackers, so there's talent around LSU. I just think the offensive line, which is critical, has to be upgraded, and I think BK realizes that. And, with the transfer portal and the early signing period, I wouldn't be surprised if he focuses in on that position.
Boog, being a former player, seeing Brian Kelly leave an established job at Notre Dame to come and welcome the challenges, the SEC and LSU, and to welcome those pressures, does that give him a little bit more like a confidence to the players in the locker room? Like, hey, this guy wants here because he thinks that he can win. He wants all the smoke.
Yeah, I think that's a really good angle to look at because, people, it's kind of like, tomato, 6 in one hand, half dozen in another one. A lot of people from the Notre Dame side or from one side are going to say, yeah, he has a team that has the possibility of playing for a playoff and he left them. Well, he also has a team that he's going to that he thinks can win a national championship, that the one he left, he didn't think could do that because he's tried a couple of times. So, yeah, if I'm a player and I have a positive outlook, that's the way I look at it. He chose us over a team that won 11 games perennially, and the fact that he chose me has to give me a lot of confidence. And I think the best way I've heard Brian Kelly described, and I think it's the way I'm going to describe him until I actually get a chance to meet him. Everybody who knows him, who's been around him, says he's a Midwestern version of Nick Saban. I said, well, what do you mean by that? He said, well, if you're around Saban, Saban is a little bit of a brash, coach hard. He is a little bit of a screamer. He'll get in your face, as we've all seen Nick Saban do. But he'll also put his arm around you and love up on you, and he'll coach you hard. And most of the players who play for Nick Saban and they buy into doing things the right way, they love Coach Saban. Most of the players who he gets on, who kind of go the wrong way, they don't like it. So, a Midwestern version of Nick Saban, I got to think people in Baton Rouge would be okay with that.
Yeah, that'll work. I mean, if you remember when they introduced Saban, everybody was saying, I hear he's a dick, he's a jerk. A year and a half later, everybody's wearing mock turtlenecks. I mean, just come down here and win. Booger McFarland from ESPN, talking head, who's talking NFL, college football all day, all the time on ESPN. He is also from Winsboro, Louisiana, an LSU All-American, a first-round pick of the Tampa Bay Bucks. Can Taysom Hill make any difference for the New Orleans Saints as he gets the start tonight versus Dallas?
Yeah. I think as a running quarterback, sure, he can make a difference. He's going to have to throw the football, though. He can't just run around. They're going to leave on that defense. And Taysom will get his opportunity. I think people have been waiting to see Taysom healthy, practicing, kind of running offense. And so he'll get his opportunity tonight. He just signed a new contract. And, his contract simply states this. If you're playing quarterback, you make X. If you're playing the Wildcat, Swiss Army knife role, you're going to make X. So if he wants to make the $100 million, he better figure out a way to play quarterback, and I think tonight is a good time to start.
This is a wide open question. I'm sorry to put this on you, but what has been the biggest story for you in the NFL up to this point? What team has captured your attention as we come down the stretch here?
I think it's the fact that the Green Bay Packers are now a complete team. They have a defense that's led by Joe Barry, and they are winning games, and they are staying in games because of their defense. And that's got to be scary because they have, at the very worst, the second-best quarterback in football, maybe the most talented quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So if that's the case, you put a defense with that, and on top of that, if they get a home field advantage and you got to go to Lambeau, let me tell you, having played in Lambeau in 0-degree weather when it's minus 15 wind chill,
that doesn't sound fun.
You can be the most professional guy you want to. That weather will make you quit.
It makes me want to quit, and I'm not in it.
There are a lot of teams that do not want any part of that. So, yeah, I think the fact that the Packers are where they are, to me, is a major storyline. I get it, Arizona's new, the up-and-comer, best record in football. But, yeah, Green Bay has kind of opened my eyes a little bit.
How impressive is 7-4 second in the AFC North Cincinnati look to you right now?
7-4 is good, man. Again, it's a long season. So 7-4 is really like 7-3. Because you got an extra game just from a winning percentage standpoint. I think that, when you're 7-4, you got to get healthy. And you want to kind of, the last 5 or 6 games, particularly the last 4 games, you want to start to hum a little bit. And I think that's where they are. They got to get healthy and get ready to hum the last 3 or 4 games.
How good has Burrow been in year 2?
As good as advertised. Joe Burrow's that dude, man. Like he's got that demeanor, that attitude. He's got that moxie. He's got the intangibles that we saw in Baton Rouge, man. Yeah. And if they can just keep him healthy, man, at some point Joe's going to learn how to slide. And, once he does that, then I think everybody in Cincinnati will be a lot happier. But I love Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow is one of the few quarterbacks that if I'm stuck in a foxhole, I want him with me. Yeah,
that shot of him and T.J. Watt last weekend I thought was awesome. I mean, them going back and forth. We talked to his dad yesterday morning, and his dad doesn't have a lot of stresses in his life right now here as he's watching Joe kind of become a pro. Yesterday, his main concern was about his tee time that was for 11 o'clock in Cincinnati or in Athens, Ohio, and he was worried about the weather. It was going to be somewhere around 35 degrees. You play golf every day, but you do it in sunny Florida. What's the coldest weather you would play in, and what is the cutoff line for you? Because you do love the game, but how cold is it where you say, I ain't doing it?
Well, if it's a calm day, meaning no wind, I'll dip into the 50s. So 50, as long as it has a 5. As long as it has a 5 in front, I'll play with no wind. If it's windy, they might need to have a 6 in front of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
fair.
I feel that's a normal one.
But what if Tiger Woods invited you to play golf with you? How low would the weather have to get before you would say no?
Well, I like Tiger, but I mean, I'm not going to freeze for Tiger.
Who should LSU keep on staff? Is there any staff member that makes sense to you to keep for Brian Kelly standpoint?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that make sense. I mean, if you just look at the names that are positions that he needs to be filled that are the best recruiters, yeah, keep those guys. I'm not going to name any names because here's what I'll say, and I tell everybody this. When they pay you $100 million, you better have it figured out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what LSU gave him, and I'm pretty sure he'll figure it out. BK has been coaching a long time, man. BK's got relationships. He knows how to put together a staff. He's hired and fired a ton of people. Usually I get a little worried when it comes to all this stuff, but I feel really, really good that Brian Kelly, who has won, he's the all-time winningest coach at one of the most prestigious institutions in America, Notre Dame. He knows how to put together a staff. He also understands that, guess what? When I go to a new town and, the first thing if I want to get a house, I got to call who? I got to call the realtor. And the realtor's got to show me around, and they got to let me know, hey, here's a good part of the town. Here's a good neighborhood. Well, guess who's the realtor? It's called the assistant coaches. So BK is not a dummy. I'm sure to show him where neighborhoods are hotbed and recruiting spots. So he'll be fine. LSU will be fine. Scott Woodward has done an outstanding job. Scott, Burge Osbury, President Tate. I couldn't be more proud of where we are right now as an athletic program with Kim Mulkey, Will Wade. Now you add in Brian Kelly, and specifically from a football standpoint. I bleed purple and gold. There's no one man that's bigger than LSU, and so I'm always looking and always watching. And today is a day that I continue to hold my head high. No different than I did with Coach O, because I supported Coach O. But again, no one man is bigger than LSU. So Coach O has moved on, and so now we are in the Brian Kelly era, and I couldn't be happier, fellas.
That is a ringing endorsement from one of the best LSU football players in the program's history there in Booger McFarland, who you can catch just about every day talking some type of football on ESPN. Follow him on Twitter at ESPN Booger. It's great to hear from you, man. Thank you for the time as always.
Anytime, fellas. Y'all have a good one.
All right, man. There is Boog checking in this morning as it wouldn't be a Boog interview if there was no phone problem.
And they ever told you look like Booger McFarland?
I was like,
Deep
wait,
cut.
I was like, whoa, we're still on the phone?
Dude. The week of the
What
Super Bowl,
happened?
the week
What
of the
happened?
Super Bowl, we had him on, and the Super Bowl was in Tampa. It was in his hometown this year. And he walked into a Starbucks and he was doing the interview, as he's walking to the Starbucks, and the guy behind the counter says this. He says this to him.
Oh, don't go ahead.
When he walks in.
Well, I think he was driving his car. Was he pulling up through the drive-thru?
Maybe so. Maybe so.
And he was going through the drive-thru line, and he told him that he gave him the hush. I'm on the phone. Don't say anything. And this is the first thing the guy says.
And they ever told you look like Booger McFarland?
And we heard it. I mean, it was right there.
we could hear it
We
over
were like,
the phone.
what?
It was so, and you
Did
could tell
Boog laugh?
You could tell he kind of muted it and was like, "Bro, shut up! I'm on the phone."
I just told you not to
what I
say
mean?
anything. And he said, "You ever heard like Booger McFarland?"
was
God damn
It
it!
was awesome, dude. Go Flow IV, Go Flow IV and Spa. Remember, you can find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. They offer memberships over there, 3-month, 6-month, and annual memberships. If you suffer from chronic dehydration, if you are looking for an uptick in your athletic performance, if you want to replenish electrolytes and vitamins for illness recovery or chronic illness, get in touch with GoFlow. GEAUXFlowIV.com. GoFlowIV.com. Baton Rouge's premier medical spa, specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. Check them out. GoFlow, GEAUXFlowIV.com. We will close out the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Go Chevrolet, when we come back.
The Major League Baseball of hydration. Whatever you need, we can tailor it to you.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. True Blue Water. True hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live here, powered by Go Chevrolet. And shout out to my guy here
Bayou Blend Jerky.
at Bayou Blends, BayouBlends.com. This beef jerky is incredible.
Which one do you have over
we
there?
did have a rocky start with Bayou Blend.
Let's talk about
Bayou Blend,
Poor
my guy,
Milton.
which let me tell you, I respect. We're all entrepreneurs here, Milton.
Hustling.
We're all hustlers, bro. But Milton came over to what he thought was the UDL. It was actually my house. After some back and forth with Katie, and at about 6
Address mixed
a.m.
up.
Man, he did tell me it would be what,
At about
6:30ish?
about 6:15ish, bro.
Early.
I'm back from yoga, going through the morning routine. Everybody's sleeping in the house. Everybody's kind of getting ready. I'm kind of getting ready for the day. And out of nowhere, I mean, there is a cop knock at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, what?
Heart drops.
Yes, absolutely.
Old high school feeling.
Holy shit. Get my bearings. Where am I? Are we good? Everything's good here? I mean, I am in the shower and I hear bang, 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 bang. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so I grab the towel, get the door. I see that somebody's in the driveway. And as soon as I open up the door, Milton's already at like 11 a.m. energy. You know what I mean?
Up, yeah.
Like he's
I love
already
it.
sparked and ready to rock. He's been up since 4. You know what I mean? Good morning, partner. How are you? Milton from Bayou Blends. It's good to see you. I'm like, Milton, shut the fuck up, man. I got people sleeping back here, for God's sakes, bro. Don't you know? He's like, Katie didn't tell you I was coming. She didn't let you know. I'm like, Milton, no, bro, but it's all good. Shut up, man. He's like,
Cool
"Look,
it."
Here's the blends. I got bags for you. I got a couple in the truck. I'm like, what is going on right now, man? Am I being pumped? I mean, what is happening? So come to find out, dude, Milton, I love your energy in the morning. Mikey and I were talking about it. We're morning people. I like morning
Big
people,
morning guy.
bro.
Yeah.
He was just
I
a
like
little
morning
earlier than
people.
It was
he said.
and it was unexpected.
Just
though.
caught me off
It was
guard.
unexpected.
You know
Little
what I
energy,
mean?
just brought a little energy. Never hurts
10
today.
minutes later, me and Milton might be best friends.
Without or 10 minutes later.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I meant. 10 minutes later.
He
Milton and I
emailed me
might be
right
the
after
best.
and was like, "Oh, he wasn't expecting me." I was like, "Well, he was, just not that early. I think you were a little earlier than you
Yeah,
said."
he emailed me. He was like, "Well, that didn't go good."
And the worst thing was we're like, all right, well, let's try the jerky. We start eating. We're like, oh, we got to do a make good on
Dude,
this, dude.
And the deal about it, and like I'm walking in, I'm like, dude, some Yahoo dropped off beef jerky this morning at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I like dump it out on the couch. I come back in. I mean, Ma took like it looks like he's robbing the place.
It's good stuff.
He's like, bro, this shit is incredible.
It's really cool.
Like, let me try it. Let me try it. This guy, Milton, goddamn Milton, dude. I
Angry
open
eat
it
the
up, and I
jerky.
mean, like, I've been eating it all day.
What
This
kind
stuff
is that you
is fantastic. Bayou Blend. This is Melange original.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
That's
the
the
original.
OG flavor.
How many
It means
The original?
original
I
and
think we
Cajun
got
French.
4 flavors.
We think we counted 4 or 5 flavors that we.
One of
gave
those
us.
some bitches is spicy.
Louisiana Bonfire.
Yeah,
it's
it'll
a spicy one.
Yeah, it's fire.
Yeah,
though.
and
Bayou
that
Blend is a little spicy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is.
That's the OG
it pops,
you
bro.
have right there.
It pops.
Well, dude, once Mikey dug in, he goes, "This is like."
Yeah, I saw
he
Mikey.
Goes, this is baseball jerky, and I was like, "Cool, it's got the MLB
Yeah,
stamp
there's
on
nothing
it."
better. There's nothing better than like
Dehydrated.
baseball. Yeah, and baseball has like a lot of southern guy, like
Yeah.
southern, like it's just like
Sure.
from the south.
Yeah, it's
so,
prominent sport down here.
So you get into locker rooms and you have guys from everywhere, and you have guys from Texas, and you're like, hey, my grandfather, my boy home makes his own jerky, and they always send it, and it's like always in like Ziploc bags, like whatever, and they pass it around, and dude, like the minute he says, hey, anybody want jerky, everybody raise their hand. Yeah. Pull an order, and it is awesome. So like
Bro,
this kind of reminds me of
this
that.
might get you a little cred in the dugout.
Yeah, I may have to bring some in there.
So they sell it at. I listed the truck
Let
stops.
Melvin drop it off.
Someone asked,
he does deliveries.
This guy.
someone asked on Instagram, and I listed the truck stops. But Milton also told me it's sold at. I'm gonna butcher this, but Delaun's.
Delaney's.
Is that how you say it?
Delaney's in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Sorry.
try
Not
over there,
from here.
Mississippi girl.
Not from here.
Yeah.
Delane.
Ring that cowbell the next time you try to enunciate that.
Anyway, you can
Don't
buy
make it
it.
air
You
out
can
the
purchase it
text,
there.
Cody Boudreaux, Bourgeois Meat Market is the GOAT. $2. I don't know, bro. This Bayou Blend is pretty good.
Yeah, Cody, come on now.
Try it.
You gotta try Bayou Blend.
knock it till you try it, baby.
Look online at BayouBlend.com.
Mm-hmm.
BayouBlend.com, and then any stores that you can pick
But
up.
maybe we can give some away soon.
Yeah.
Give away those
Yeah,
tickets.
I
What are
told
we
you the
doing?
stores. Delon's.
yeah.
Delaney's in Santa Monica.
Delani's, and then the Super Stop truck stops in Ascension Parish, and
Okay.
Fred's truck
Okay.
stops at Ascension Parish, and
Sweet.
the Pierre Part. Is that how you
Pierre
say it?
Part, baby.
Pierre Part.
Delones.
store in Pierre Part.
Ronnie the limo driver says it's Delones.
Delones. Oh,
That's
so
okay.
y'all are
I'm a limo
railing on
driver.
me,
I
but
don't.
y'all
didn't
didn't
say
have it right
anything.
either.
Not
Is
y'all.
that what
I have
we're
no idea
saying?
what we're talking about.
Spell
I've
it
never been
again.
Delaunes, I think.
We sure on that, Ronnie?
I mean, he's a
Delones.
dude. He's a
I feel
Alright.
like
For
Ron
the
professional
local-
He
driver.
said that's how you pronounce it. Delones. Yeah.
Delones.
Delones.
All right, have a great day. Go Chevrolet drives us every
Wait,
day.
are we doing the tickets?
Yeah,
Are we doing the tickets?
Why
How are
doing
we
those
gonna do
tickets?
it?
I don't know.
We haven't even discussed this.
True. I had.
You want to like shoot
First
for it?
person-
Social media?
First person.
We could
what?
post it. Tag the. We could put something up on Instagram,
Yeah.
Twitter. Tag you and a friend. We have 2 tickets.
Yeah, 2 tickets to the women's
Yeah.
game
Yeah, well-
tonight.
Big game.
Yeah, we'll throw
Iowa
up
State,
a
big game.
We can throw up a Kim Mulkey post. Tag you and a friend that you want to go. We'll pick one at random. Whoever wants to go to the game, so check your Instagram, Twitter, whatever. We'll reach out to you that way if that's
There
how
you
you want
go.
to do
There
it.
you go.
Lloyd just
Richie
told you how
B.
to do it.
Richie B. Is it concerning that none of Kelly's staff has followed him to LSU? Richie, take that little cursor right there on YouTube that you're watching, slide that thing back to the beginning of the show, and watch. We got a lot of good thoughts on that throughout today's show. We appreciate you for interacting with us and being there. Make sure and hit the like, share, comment button for us every day. We're driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet. We'll be with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Does UL hate us more now because we didn't take
They
Billy?
couldn't hate us more.
It's bad.
No,
They couldn't hate us
Oh,
more.
they do?
They don't. Yeah,
hate
there's.
us?
Yeah.
Oh, are you kidding?
I just said us.
You said it again.
No,
That's twice.
That's 2.
That's 2
and the one
times.
for the first one's a
That's
secret.
2 times. I know nobody knows about the first one. She
What's
told
his
us
name?
not to say
What's his
it.
name?
She just
Now
said
it's out. Jesus.
Now it's out. You did it yourself, though.
Kelly brought that wind
Wow,
hit for
man.
Kelly right at the right time. She's like, I'm kind of in
Oh
on
my
LSU.
God.
What's his name?
Oh, but
Ryan?
yes. UL fans. For some UL fans, don't like LSU fans. I don't know why. Just.
But now it's worse.
Little brother.
No, I think now it's like they
Yeah.
feel like they have a
Little
leg
brother.
up. Oh, we had the coach that y'all wanted. He didn't go to
Yeah,
you.
that makes sense.
So now they feel like I don't know if they hate us anymore. I think it gives them like a feather. I don't even know if it would be a full
feather in their cap that he went to Florida instead of LSU.
Right.
And
the head pat and the giggle just kind of gets them
every time.
You know what I mean? Just kind of.
I wish it would have gone because even if
that's pretty cute, man.
Even if he would have come to LSU, it would have been you had to take our your sloppy seconds to LSU.
No, I think it would have gained UL fans.
That's all I wanted.
I think it would
just
have.
bring the state together.
I think if he'd have gotten LSU, because I think most UL fans understand that like he was going to go to a job that was going to.
They knew this was coming. The state was
and so it's like, well, you know what? This is kind of like, hey, we developed him here, and now y'all got him, and like now it's just like, I think that we would have gotten some fans.
A lot more gear, Florida gear being sold in Lafayette.
No
Katie
doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
Man, they're gonna be loud the week of the Florida game. That's fine. All right, we
That's fine.
Daily
I don't care.
Yeah, right. Daily and
Tell me you're
driven.
bothered, but I tell me you're bothered.
I don't care.
I don't care.
We're fine.
It doesn't bother me.
Sound like Notre Dame fans. Oh, I'm glad he left. I mean, didn't really want to do.
What was his name? Who?
Brian. PK. The 11
The
minute
numbers
meeting.
on
BTK.
Brian. The Brian.
BTK.
Yeah. BDK.
BDK.
The
I know,
numbers
but the
on
killer, BTK.
Killer.
The killer was BTK.
the number athlete.
3 syllables.
Athlete right here.
Give it one more. Give it one more.
The contract numbers on Brian Kelly is disturbing at Notre Dame. I mean, like the fact that caliber of coach was making that money. Yeah, it was a catch.
Secured.
Absolutely. 2
I know,
feet.
what's
2
up
feet
with
in.
that?
Not a boy cop.
They don't
Cop.
pay.
Shake my hand.
It for the longest time it was.
Shake.
Jake.
Not a
Yeah,
boy.
give me the jerky.
For the longest time, it was if you go to it's a privilege to coach at Notre Dame. Not like with Notre Dame, you need Notre Dame. Notre Dame doesn't need you, and it's like
2.3. Like
Man,
Notre
that's a
Dame.
slap in the face.
The fact that you kept him that long is the story. It really is.
Absolutely.
Like how nobody in the SEC ran up on him and was like, Brian, we'll pay you 6.
know.
We'll give you
I mean,
2
for
to
God's
leave. We'll give
sakes,
you 2 to
bro.
leave. We gave 17 for somebody to lock the door on their
I
way
think
out.
the most gangster part of that contract is how about the $1.2 million interest-free loan for the house?
I know.
I don't know what that
that's a
means.
I'm looking at
It
it all
means
right
that he's
now.
giving you $1.2 million on top of the 10 he's already paying you per year,
buying you a house.
just for a housing allowance.
yeah.
You know the house that you can buy in Baton Rouge for $1.2 million of interest-free
Now it's
money.
free?
You know what I mean? And I've got $10 million a year in the bank coming in.
I can put a link, stretch it
So
out a
that's
little
You know what I
bit.
designed to
mean?
cover
Hey
20% of the
Jim
purchase
Bernhard,
price.
how much you want for it, buddy?
Wait, 1.2 covered. So he could.
That's designed to cover
He
20%
technically
of
could
the
buy
purchase price.
Wait,
a
what?
big ass house.
That's designed to cover 20% of the purchase price of his primary residence. Has to be located within 30 miles
Yeah.
of campus. He will
20%?
eventually have to repay the loan.
Yeah, but interest free. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll
wins one
replay it in
nat-
rings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One national championship, he gets that
Come
bonus
asking for
back.
that money if he has a championship.
He also gets 50 hours of private aircraft time for
That's what we were
personal
talking about.
use. Yeah.
Remember we were talking about that with O. Like that was the
Yeah.
part that was baffling them
That he
within
just
them.
goes to
They're like,
Destin in
bro,
the
what are
plane."
you doing? Don't go to the Roosevelt.
Is
Use
it-
the
Yeah,
private
use the
plane. Use the
plane.
PJ and go somewhere else.
Yes.
So is it 50 hours of only flight time from airborne to touchdown, then the clock stops?
I
Or is
guess.
it like how long you're
You
gone?
know what?
I think it's.
You know what?
Wheels up,
You don't
wheels
worry
down,
about
probably.
that.
Yeah.
I think it's air time.
It has to be, because if it's
air
50
time. It's only
hours,
fuel. It's
Yeah.
only
yeah,
time
that's 2
fuel is-
days.
It's only time fuel is being burned.
Yeah.
So
Don't be
if,
late.
if LSU plays in the SEC title game, he gets a $75,000 bonus,
Thank you.
plus another $75,000 if they win.
Thank
He gets
you.
he gets a
An
5.
additional $125,000 in bonus for Coach of the Year award,
Appreciate
Right.
that.
and $50,000 based on team's academics.
Look at the bowl game stat.
The bowl game stat. I did.
How
see
much
that
is
in it.
allocated to assistants?
However much he needs.
$500,000 each time LSU is bowl eligible. Likely the largest bonus payment
Bowl
for becoming
eligible.
for a bowl
LSU
game.
has been bowl eligible since Saban got there in 2000. So that's a guaranteed $500,000
Yeah,
a year.
right?
There you go, Big Cat.
We haven't had a
Private
losing.
business.
Right, what
We
you
haven't
got?
had a losing record since 1999.
That sets the floor,
You
right?
think Brian Kelly's looking at that contract going, what was I doing the
Yes.
last couple? I mean, like, Trace,
Yes.
how did you let me do this?
They had to. I guess you kind of hide behind the facade of you don't know what he's making at Notre Dame, so
Right.
it's hard to even.
No, but it
approach
came
him.
out in public, and like I think that maybe he was one of those guys that felt like 2.3 is playing enough for me. I don't care about the money. It's about I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
two-
know until
I-
you see 10.
$2.5
Right.
million in South Bend, Indiana probably
mean,
feels
yeah,
like
it
$10
is.
million.
Yeah. But plus, I'm sure he had a ton of incentives on top of that, right? I mean, you have to. I mean, he was winning.
I don't know. I don't know how it works over
I
there.
mean, I don't know.
I don't know
Man,
either.
I mean,
I don't know.
what a pay raise.
I wonder
What
what.
an everything raise.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're coming to LSU and you're making that kind of money. I mean, that's like, Congratulations.
Yeah,
Go win, bro.
Go win.
Go win.
Jeez, Yeah.
Go win. They'll build a statue of you if you do. If he does.
pretty
It'll just take 45 years to get it up. You'll be dead by the time it gets
Your
up.
grandkids will see it.
Yeah.
All right, have a great day. We'll be with you tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Go Chevrolet, driving us every day.
Lloyd, you ready?